A very good afternoon to all the viewers out at cadre.org on YouTube, probably on Team Liquid as well. I'm here with Liquid Ret, a familiar face to all of you out there. He's back at the last day of Home Story Cup. He had a good night last night, so he's a little bit on the down today, but we still managed to catch an interview with him. So thanks for that. And we'll start off with a little bit of a question about the last year, because towards the end of the year, I'd say from about the summer onwards, you came across as a little bit less confident than you were before. And you were saying how you weren't winning as much. Was this a sudden moment where you realized that, or was it like a run of tournaments where you went, well, I should have done a lot better during these tournaments?
I think that after NASL season 3, I went to the semifinal and beat Puzzle, and then I went up 2-0 against Alicia, and then I lost 2-4 to Alicia and 0-4 to MC. So I lost 8 games in a row, pretty much. And even though I don't really believe in all this kind of mental stuff, like, it was definitely a hit to the confidence, and then followed by a couple of other not so good results. It's like, I've always had good and bad results, so I was kind of just waiting and waiting, like, okay, this will be fine. But so far, I mean, I got through the first groups here at Home Story Cup, so it wasn't like terrible, and I definitely had chances to go to the top 8. So I think I still have the potential to do those kind of results. I just need to practice more and try harder. Like, I can like go into philosophy about all these mental aspects of like the game and try to find all these reasons for why I'm not playing well, but I almost feel like that's just a waste of time. Like, you just need to try harder, practice more, and get better. Just get into more situations that occur in tournament games, in like your custom games and your practice games. And then I think everything should be fine soon.
So after that, you decided to join the Ministry of Winhouse, which I think was a little bit of a surprise for 2 reasons. At that time, Ministry of Win wasn't really put in a good daylight. There was a lot of the Fuser controversy, so to speak, just happened, and I think Destro was speaking out, and yet you still decided to go there. How was your experience there, and why did you choose to go there over something like the Team Liquid house?
Well, actually, the bad news happened when I was already there. So at first I talked to them on Skype, and they seemed really nice, and just the idea of a team house in Europe was cool. And I actually did, like, I felt like I got better there in the 1 month or so I was there. I was starting to do well, and then I had WCS, and I actually played pretty well there. Like, I had the feeling I could win the tournament if I had some luck there. Like, I was good enough, and I just lost because of like very small things. So I think Ministry of Win actually helped me for that period of time. Obviously it wasn't like what I expected, but I still thought it was a good house, and it could definitely help people get better. So I don't really have anything bad to say about them. It just didn't work out because I had to go elsewhere and too much travel, and then I decided I will just get my own place in the Netherlands, which I just got a month ago, and go with that idea instead of the Ministry of Win. But I still think it's a good house for anyone that wants to improve. Like, it was a good choice for me at the time, and maybe I'll even go back someday. I don't really know, but yeah, it just seemed like a good idea at the time.
Now, in our interviews with Dario, a big part of them was always about the sports psychologist that he hired in, and his mental state was really important. And well, did you use any of this? Did he talk to you about this and say, you should try this out, maybe it'll help you come to the right state of mind?
Actually, about a week ago, I started talking to the same person. It's nice. Like, it's nice to have someone that is like invested in your career, because they will ask you how you're doing, and they will just show interest in things like this and help you with whatever they can. Like I said, like the whole psychology part of it, I'm not really sure, because it's so much like in Dutch you say not the vingerwerk. I don't. You can like make up all these things like this is why you're losing or this is your problem, but at the end of the day, you're just not playing well enough, or you're not using your keyboard and your mouse well enough. And I like to keep things simple, so. But things like routine and like having a rhythm that you're completely used to and you do every day without thinking about, those are things that will help make your practice better. So those are things I'm working on also with this guy right now that's helping Dario. And I think for Dario, it's done great things. So everyone is different, so we'll see. But, you know, I'll do whatever to get back on top.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. We had some sound issues there. A little thing that you also participated in was the MLG MVP League, which was some StarCraft 2 players and a lot of Brood War players in different conferences and stuff. And obviously, you come from a Brood War history. I think it's really interesting to hear your opinion on this because you used to know them in Brood War. I think you must have played against them, like a lot of them, a couple times back in your day. How was it to see them transition into StarCraft 2? And how did you think they did overall? Did they exceed your expectations? Did they play a little bit less good than you thought?
Well, first of all, it was like just awesome to play guys like Flash and Jaedong in StarCraft 2 because in StarCraft 1, I was pretty much a huge fanboy of them. So I was just like felt like playing my idols. As far as skills go, like there's less difference in skill in StarCraft 2, like because there's just less to work with or because I haven't played as long. So I felt like I wasn't like too far behind them. Like they were really good, and you could tell like they've been practicing, even though it hasn't been that long at that time. But all their mechanics are great, and their builds are already great because like the teams are like just there's obviously like ideal builds for everything. So all the Korean players are using that because they tell each other about it. So their play was just already great, and you can see that now. You could see that the last few months with the Kesla players doing pretty good. So they're just gonna get better, I feel, and it was a great chance for me to play them.
You just mentioned the topic that there's not a lot to work with in StarCraft 2 as comparison to StarCraft 1, for example. Now, Heart of the Swarm does have some changes, but I think Zerg is the least in the spotlight, so to speak. They have the Swarm host, they have the Viper, but most of the talk is about Terrans. Quite a lot is about Protoss as well with the Mothership and all that. So what is your opinion on the changes? Is it good for Zerg? Would you expect more? And how will it affect your play come the days that Heart of the Swarm will be the main game?
Well, I definitely haven't played enough to give you like a really good opinion on this. I think the Swarm host is okay, but it's kind of a boring unit as well. Like there's not that many creative things you can do with it. You just control it and you attack with it. The Viper is definitely interesting. I really hope some of their abilities will be like worth it. Like when Protoss goes Colossus, you can either go Corruptors and get Brute Lords, or you can go Vipers and get Deduct and then bring them to you. But the Vipers have no real like late game. Like they're a late game unit, but they have no like real like valuable transition like Corruptors to Brute Lords win game. So definitely have to play around with them more. I think the Blinding Cloud thing could be really interesting if it's really good, because that is definitely it just reminds me of Swarm in StarCraft 1, the Defiler. So I'm okay with the units. I'm happy the Infestor got changed. I think the Fungal like was stupid. I think force fields are stupid, so I'm hoping that they do something about that, because I think it's the same as Fungal. It's just not one click, but it's like 5 clicks, and then your units are stuck, but it's the same end result. So I'm hoping like if they remove those elements of the game where there's no micro, you just sit and watch, and you kind of do like preemptive micro, but not like actual micro. I want to see more like constant back and forth action and micro. Like I'm just a Brute War fan. Like I just wanted to be like that game. But I still think it's an improvement from Wings of Liberty for sure. Like, but I have to play it more often.
All right. Final question before we go out to the sponsor shoutouts and such is obviously I think we've got 4 players left now effectively. All Zergs. Grubby was down 2-0 when we went up here. So unless he pulls a miracle comeback, it's going to be Snoot, X-Lord, Stefano, and I can't recall the last one right now. Symbol, that's right. Who do you think is going to be the winner of those 4? And was the tournament what you expected of it? Obviously, with 5 Zergs in the final 8, some people might hate on that. Maybe the GSL format. Some people have been complaining about that because of the matchups with MC and Nama, for example. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I really love the GSL system. I think it's more fair. I hate groups. There's always problems with like the last games in the groups, like friends helping each other and stuff like this. So GSL system just removes that problem from the scene completely. So I'm like a huge supporter of the system. So I don't care if you have to play someone twice. If you're going to be better, then you're going to win. and I think MC is better than Nama, so we should be happy that he advanced. For a prediction, I'm hoping that this is Snoot's time, because I feel like Snoot's just been on really good level for such a long time, always beating top players and doing great things, but never like taking the big win. So I'm hoping for Snoot, but it could be like Xlord is kind of unknown as well, but he's a good player. Stefano's already won enough. And who was the last one? Symbol. I'm hoping for a Snoot Symbol final with like really epic games, long ZVZ games.
And obviously, I guess this is a quite mute question, but where can your fans follow you? Maybe where will they see you next? Sponsor shoutouts and all that.
Well, they can follow me on Twitter @LiquidRet, Facebook RetZerg, and of course my stream Twitch TV LiquidRet. And for next tournament, I really don't know. I know there's IEM in January with an open bracket, so maybe I will play that, maybe not. It's gonna be interesting to see like when the HOTS tournaments are gonna start and like what MLG, DreamHack, IEM and stuff is gonna do with that. But yeah, hopefully there's always a bit of a break like in January, February, so I will use that to just practice like as much as possible, and then hopefully when HOTS comes out, I'll be right back on top.
I wish you all the best of luck with that, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more of you. And to all the viewers out there at cadred.org, this is definitely not the last interview. We've still got Take to do, we've still got some other players to do, so do stay tuned.